Oh, that's... okay, you can temporarily hear me because I switched microphones. It's not detecting my actual mic, like my Yeti mic, at all. So that's fun. That's a mic, but it's not my usual one. So it's probably sounding really weird right now. Hang on. What's that? It's like, yeah, it's just not even listing my microphone, my normal one, which is concerning. Hang on. Wanted to get my headphones, and as usual, I have completely rolled them up. Let me see if anything's coming through to this. They'll be echoed for a second. Please just ignore me. They'll be echoed for a second. Oh god, that mic is terrible. Okay. What is it doing? Why is this not... Yeah, I know, right? We have such fancy technology, and yet, God, why does Windows have like 4 different things for bloody? What? It's plugged in enough. It's getting power, but it seems like Windows might not be detecting it. Well, it did the beepy thing that, you know, does when you unplug something. Okay, so that's picking up volume. Oh, there we go. That's my default, please. Okay. No, not that button. There we go. All right, that should be my usual mic now. That should be a lot better, hopefully. So. Hello. RJ was saying he's getting there, but we came home and he immediately demanded food, even though he's had dinner. So he's currently just chasing a few, like hunting for a few more bits. Hello. And I think he wants to play now. So, of course. You want to play? You come up here? Are you going to find the rest of your fruit? Go on, go hunt. Go hunt. What? Uh-huh. You just want to destroy things today. Hi. Oh my goodness. He has destroyed so many things today. Like, that's just... Yeah. He's very much in that kind of mood. So... Probably gonna need to just, like... I don't know, do another really long walk or something, or just play with him a heap. To just wear him out. Hello? Where am I? Sharing. That link. That's the one I want. I really need to just get a thumbnail. Like, goodness. I need a generic thumbnail for, like, just chatting stream. Eric! Oh no. Hello! I'm glad you're here. I'm not glad you're here at the expense of your health. At the expense of your... Yeah, health, sleep. I was gonna say sleep, but health also works. How you doing? That is not the format I wanted to use for that, but we will take it. It's fine. I'm still sick. Yeah. Oh. 4 hours of sleep. Oh god. Yeah, that's... Actually, I've been waking up a lot lately. Just like all throughout the night, every hour or two. It's been really annoying. I haven't... Weirdly enough, I haven't felt like super tired in the morning from it. But I don't think I've really felt like rested. Like I haven't felt bad because of it, but I haven't felt good either. So hello. How are you feeling? Are you feeling any better? Sorry, I've decided I'm gonna use a screen cap and just set it as a thumbnail. So hence I'm messing with my hair, and now I'm gonna go wash it. This is driving me crazy too much. I need a non-game thumbnail. And it's... Yes. It's like... Yes! It looks so good. That really does take up a lot of your room, though. But hey, this is fine. So... Okay, hang on. Do I like, try and, like, pose and smile at the camera for a thumbnail? Or do I just take one while talking to people and... Hello? Do you want to come up my lap? Do you want to be in the photo? Yeah. Uh-huh. Get you. Oh, get you. Get you. Get you. Toby. I'll get you. I can hear him doing something. He was just jumping on and off the ottoman. I don't know what he was doing just then, but... Hayden! Hello! How you doing? Oh. He's found pieces of food between boxes that are under my bed, and so he's busy digging them out. Hello? You wanna come up? I feel like I should get Toby in the thumbnail. Toby thumbnail, clearly. Yeah, I need to like get him. Come here, come here. And we're zooming. I'll get you. I'll get you. No, if you just go into the cupboard, you're not getting any. Oh yes, I do have cake for you now, Ham. It's in the freezer. Wait, Snaky! Hello! I may have said hi already. I don't actually remember. This is fine. Full of pizza and one of those non-dairy wait, Magnum do non-dairy ones now? I need to look into this. Alright. Trying to stay awake last night, but then when I... Trouble sleeping. Yeah, that sounds about right. you doing? God, everyone's... Is it just because I started streaming a bit later? Like, everyone's just here. Straight away. I'm losing track slightly of who's here and who's not. That's probably also just because I'm tired, but anyway. Parliament House? Oh? How come? Some kind of trip? Come here, come here. I want to take a photo. Every time I go to pick him up, he thinks it's a game. Come on, lift. What are you doing? You just want to fight. Gotcha. I gotcha. Oh, jeez. I just knocked my knee into the desk. Something terrible. Anyway, hey Toby, I kind of need you to look up. How do I get him to pose? I should have grabbed some like fruit or something. I don't. This is a problem. As soon as I have to take any kind of photo, I get like, wait, I just think too much about it. Pizza Hut sells them because they do vegan stuff. Oh, that's neat. Hey Toby, how do I get you to be like in the photo? That was not what I meant to do. I need to tilt that, not change the level. I need to tilt it. Apologies for the like moving of the camera. Oh, I really should get a Allen key to do this, but I'm not. Alright. Somebody needs a camera. So... Ah, yep. Hey Toby, sit up. Up. Okay, sit up. I want you in the photo. Oh, I put the camera up and everything. It's like, because it's just his head. How do we do this? How do we do this? He's sorry. He's like, what are you doing to me? What is this? Can I like... There we go. Hey, Toby. Look that way. You know what I could do? Hang on. I apologize in advance for the noise. Wait, no, that's not helpful. Hang on, Bobby. Hang on, hang on. Trying to like hold him in a way that's actually comfy, but also have him on screen. Well, that got him looking in that direction, but he's looking at my speakers. This is what happens when we have bird noises. Now, can I rotate this more? Oh my goodness. That is meant to turn easy, and it really doesn't. There we go. Oh, that's gotten rather not stable. Eh. Trying to like rotate so that Toby is visible, and he's not liking it. He's very confused by this. Hey? You're very confused by all this fuss, aren't you? Well, if only I was... That would have worked. Hey, Toby. Hang on. Okay. Hey, Toby. Oh, dear. Okay, hang on. Wait, I gotta put these... That's right. Wait, where does it put them? I just remembered I don't remember where this thing puts the screenshots. Where is it? Where did it put it? Not where I thought it was going to, apparently. Okay. I'm using the OBS screenshot thingy. And I thought I put it into the video folder, but apparently not. Where does that go? It doesn't go into the screenshot folder. Where does OBS save Screenshots. Yeah, you can actually see like the full length of him at the moment. This is also not a comfortable way for me to sit at all, but it's working for now. He's just flopped. He's figured out where the speaker is, and he's just flopped so he can stare at it. Where does this save? Seriously, like where? Screenshots. Screenshots. Where did you save? Damn it, OBS. Every time I use this thing, I have to double check, and I always forget where it goes. And I can never find it. Yeah. Can you guys hear the birds? I wasn't sure if that would like come through. So I've got it in my speakers at the moment. So where the heck is OBS? What does it do? Does it put on the clipboard? No, doesn't put on the clipboard. Where does it put them? I hit the screenshot button and it just... I mean, I think I hit the screenshot button. I hope I actually did. Oh, there we go. I found him. Yeah, I don't mind that. We'll use that, at least for now. It's something. It's a better thumbnail than the Moonlighter one when I don't actually think I'll be playing any video games today. Oh, wait, I should probably move that to the right folder. Which folder is that? Content. Right, and then it's there. There we go. Alright, I'll probably do something nice with that later, but for now we have a screenshot of types. So, right, let's switch our audio back. Okay. Cool. Alright, and I'll put this back over here now that I'm not doing all that. It's a good minute. No, I was using, so not the Windows print screen, but the OBS has its own little thing that it just takes the current frame. So I just grabbed that. Messiah! Hello! How you doing? But yeah, what were you guys talking about this today? Was it Games Chat? It was Games Chat. I saw a bunch of messages and then I didn't get around to read them. Last of Us. Ah. Let me know what you think of... wait, no, is Sneaky here? My brain just completely... I'm not keeping track. Sneaky isn't... Yes, here. Right? Yes, Sneaky waved. Let me know what you think of Reggie's book, Sneaky. I'm very curious. I did. I saw... Well, someone put it in... Wait, I should say when I'm responding. I did see the Splatoon post, Wilds. Someone put it in the server earlier. Sneaky, I think? Yeah, Sneaky. I like the Tri-Slosh. I like what they've done there. That's cool. Like, it's a more well-known thing, and also it just looks... I like the vibe they're going for. Is that that's the Exploiter is the other one that they put up? Yeah. I like what they're doing. Like, the designs for Splat 3 definitely feel, I don't know, they've got that bit of, like, stylistic... like, they've got stylistic quirks to them that make it interesting. I'm kind of sad Dynamo hasn't really changed much, but yeah, we'll take it. As usual, their naming could do with a bit of work, but yeah, we'll live. Eric, thank you for the retweets. I just saw that. I keep forgetting to tweet about streams these days because I just don't use Twitter anymore. But it is helpful. So, Ollie, hello, how you doing? The other day, Ham, I don't know, I think, yeah, you posted in Discord, I think it was yesterday, that you were a terrible person because you mentioned drop bears in a reply to someone. And for some reason, for a second, I didn't realize that was in response to Eric's tweet. I thought that was in response to Ollie's tweet. Because it just seemed like the kind of thing that you'd say to Ollie. So, I was like, ah, yes, okay. Try slash look circle square. Yeah, but I'm amused because I've used exactly that, like, that square divider thing with the three that you put the pencils. I know I've used those before. Like, that is super familiar. I'm just like, yes. As soon as I saw it, I knew what it was. So, just give me blob. I'm keen to see what they do with that. How else can you change a bee? I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I'm sure there's something you can do about like the style of it that could have, like could have changed it a bit. But yeah, oh, that was today. Ah, yeah. My sense of time at the moment is just gone. Fun new art style, yes. Even a hand grip. This is true. They did do that much. Twitter is basically my blog. I just no. I don't know. I think, you know, the way Twitter and all social media and everything is designed to keep you on it as long as possible and blah 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 and algorithms. It just really started getting my brain at some point. And especially the bloody, you know how on Twitter you can make it give you the latest tweets or the like top tweets? I keep setting it to latest and it keeps just reverting to top instead, like every few days. And I just don't like it. So, yeah. So I have returned to Tumblr, my original social media. And I almost immediately went in and started turning off notification types because you can like, you have a lot of control over what notifications you get. And on the weekend, I actually went in and turned off like basically everything I wouldn't possibly want to respond to. So like someone likes something I posted or someone reblogs it or whatever, I just don't get a notification anymore. Because just the numbers coming through was like causing havoc in my brain. And so now all I see is if someone sends me a message or replies to something or they reblog something with hashtags that I might see. So, yeah, like things that I might actually want to read rather than just this person liked your post and then half the time I can't remember what the hell post it was because it was something I reblogged from someone else anyway. It's great. No, Piranhas didn't expect Eric to follow up for it. Wait, I didn't see any follow-up. Like that was the last message and then that thread I saw at the time. I was only on Twitter briefly to check on Molly White's blog, so hang on, now I gotta find. That was not the right letters. You good, Toby? Toby's very confused by the way I'm sitting right now. It's not great. Thank you, Ham. Thank you for the retweet. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna sit the way I normally sit so Toby stops being so confused by what we're doing. That better? You comfy? Oh, you went down. Okay, there you go. We very much have a system now when he wants to get down. It works well. There we go. Okay. Where was that bloody... My god, Ham, you really do tweet a lot. I'm going through your like tweets and replies and it's like, wait, shit. I'm trying to find the conversation with Eric. Ah. Oh, there we go. I see. I found it. Eric, did you not know about the drop bears? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is... We found someone who doesn't know about drop bears. Oh god. I like the idea that him giving someone shit on Twitter would default to me being yeah, I just saw it and it seemed like the kind of thing Ham would say to you, and I'm like, surely that's aimed at Ollie. And then noticed it wasn't. But yes. Wait, what? Why? Why is this such a bad browser? I mean, I know why. Yeah. This is great. Just the thread of... Yep, Eric discovering drop bears. Oh dear. What about the drop bears? Yes. So, Eric, let me tell you the story. I don't know if this is true, but this is the story I was told as a kid about the origin of the drop bear. Say my top latest, it's annoying. Just yeah, I can't stand the top latest thing on Twitter. That just no. All right. So the story I was told about drop bears was that decades ago there was a joint military training exercise between Australian Army and American Army. And this exercise happened in Queensland, in northern Queensland, because they wanted to go through the rainforest and the forest and such that we have up there, because it was a similar climate to somewhere? Asia, I'm gonna guess. Somewhere in Asia. Anyway, so the Americans all came here for this military exercise. And the night before, they were going to do this big exercise where basically I think the Australians were going to have to hide out as, like, pretending to be locals in whatever country, which they were, and the Americans had to find them in this forest. The night before, Chaos, hello! Yes, that sounds about right. The night before, to, you know, build morale and teamwork and all that, there was a big dinner, like a big group dinner. Everyone was hanging out, everyone was chatting. And over, you know, maybe a couple beers or something, I don't know, the Australians were giving the Americans some tips. Like, you know, watch out for some of the spiders, watch out for these plants, there's a few things you don't want to touch. Watch out for this kind of thing in the ground, it might be just a sinkhole you're going to fall into. All proper advice. And then one of the guys goes, oh, and watch out for the drop bears. And the Americans look at them and think, the what? It's like the drop bears. They're these bears, and they're about a foot tall, and they blend in quite well with the trees. They're quite well camouflaged. And they have these really long claws to help them climb the trees. Like they shove their nails into the tree and drag themselves up the tree. That's how they climb. That's why they have really long claws. Oh, and they have big fangs because they're carnivorous. They eat other, you know, small animals, mice, etc. And they're really protective. Like, they pick a tree and that's their home. And if you go near their tree, they get quite mad. Particularly if they have a baby. And, like, you don't want to go near one that has a baby. And if you walk under their tree and, like, bump their tree and bump them, they'll fall on you. And so hence they're called drop bears. Because if you disturb them, they will drop out of the tree and start maiming you with their giant claws and teeth. And so, of course, the Americans were suitably horrified and scared of the fact that you could be walking through these trees and these mini bears would just fall on you out of nowhere that you might not even see because they were camouflaged in the branches. And these friends said, but it's fine. They're like, don't worry about it. The chances of you running into one of them is like 1 in 100 or something. Like, don't worry. And so they go to bed. I'm sure a bunch of the Americans probably have nightmares. They wake up the next day and the exercise begins. And from the story I heard, the Australians won by a landslide because the Americans were too busy looking up to try and spot these drop bears that they never noticed the Australians coming at them from the side. So yeah, I don't know if it's true, but the story I know is it was a great lie told purely to win a military exercise with America. Oh god, bunyips. I legitimately had nightmares as a kid because of bunyips. That was what Dad's like, because Dad was from Adelaide. That was Dad's like, if you don't go to bed on time, the bunyip will get you. Bunyips and yowies. And what's the other name for them? I don't remember. Novel Last Continent, Holsters were from Australia. There's actual drop bears and they padded leathery butts. Oh god. I need to watch that. Read that. That would be great. Yes. The Americans lost to the army that lost to the... I mean, in a country so ridiculous that we lost a war to emus, drop bears seem kind of, like, possible. Like, if any country in the world is going to have miniature bears that drop on you out of the sky, it's going to be Australia. So, we have bulletproof birds, so, you know, like, come on. I don't know. Some of you would have seen it in Discord the other day because I was ranting about it. I think Wednesday when I didn't stream on Wednesday. Wait, I think Ham, you mentioned some other ad earlier, and I have Austrian BK ad. I've not seen this. I don't think. Trauma to put kids to sleep. I grew up on a kids TV show that was called something like Horrible Stories for Terrible Kids. And also all of us Australians grew up on Round the Twist. This is kind of just Australian stories, Australian fiction. It's kind of how it works. Like, if you've never seen Round the Twist, look it up on YouTube. I have several episodes I could recommend, but I don't know which one would be, yeah. Just any of them. Any of them works, really. Just watch Round the Twist, and you'll suddenly understand why we're all so fucked up. I actually refused to watch it in primary school. Like, we would have... When the teachers needed to, like, put something on to distract the kids, they'd open up one of the music rooms, which was, like, the biggest rooms you could have, and you'd fit, like, 100 people in them. And they'd just put a TV, like, a shitty little TV, like, maybe 2 foot high, at the front of the room, and then just play Round the Twist. And, like, half the kids in the room couldn't even see the screen. Half of them would just be chatting. But they would play Around the Twist. And I got so many nightmares from it that I just couldn't. In grade 7, I just refused. Like, there was one particular day, and they were like, we just need the kids to be doing stuff for, like, 2 hours. And I went to my teacher. I'm like, I can't watch it. It's just... I hate that show. And so the teacher ended up getting me to help him mark my classmates' assignments instead of watching Around the Twist. So, yeah. Strange things happen. You going around the twist. God, I hate that I have that. I know exactly that. Paul Jennings, my story from childhood and the basic... Yeah. Paul Jennings is... If that's the one I'm thinking of, he's also similar, like similar vein of story. I read a lot of Paul Jennings as a kid, actually. I'm so impressed that I was allowed to. My headphones are making weird noises. I don't like it. I did see him poo. Oh god. Yeah, that was a whole series. I like seeing Pooh, but now I just look back and I'm like, why? Why is that a thing? Oh wow, his website is very broken. No, I was thinking of something else. But I can't find it on his website, and his website's really bad. I was thinking of someone else, I think. None just made it to the UK but didn't air too long. I remember one episode Boy microwaved his underwear and got super that yeah. There was one that always freaked me the hell out, which was something like a carnival or a circus or something. And the kid went into one of the like a little box thing. And then I think his personality got swapped with someone else, or something went really weird to his personality. And I don't know, I hated that one so much. So much. Like, that was, oh my god, no. Yeah, Morris Gleitzman. I recognize the name. I'm just trying to think what I've read. Why do so many of these people have such bad websites? Oh my god. Oh, yeah, that's right. These books. I don't think I ever really liked Gleitzman too much. I didn't read too many of the books. I may have also just been a bit too old for them once they, like, when they really started coming around. Girl from Tomorrow and Spellbinder and Ocean Girl. Ocean Girl rings a bell. Maybe Spellbinder too. Oh my god, Ocean Girl. Yes. Oh, I'm mad that that's not Ocean Odyssey in the UK. That got deep ecology science fiction. That was really good. Now I want to watch this again. Damn it, Ham. Where can we watch Ocean Girl anywhere? Like, if Binge or something don't have it, I'm gonna be mad. What Danny's made is sort of perfect time capsule story from the late 80s, early, yeah. Behind Gizmo at the end. Gizmo rings a bell. Yeah, I think Gizmo I might have read a bit of. Bronze Ender vibrating. Rowling Twist never hit the US. Yeah, I think it was a bit too Australian. Jim, hello, how you doing? Oh, okay, hang on. I need to know if anyone's looking for Australian shows to watch, H2O, and not the reboot or the second reboot, the original one from like 20 years ago that was filmed at SeaWorld. You can buy Ocean Girl, all 2 seasons of it, but you can't stream it anywhere. That's sad. How much do they charge for it? I'm really curious now. Oh yeah, H2O's on Netflix. There you go. If anyone has Netflix or Prime Video, you can watch all 3 seasons of basically the show I grew up on. That's 2006, so yeah. Well, the show I was watching in high school, I guess. Like the Penny Pollard books, Penny is. I never got into those. I never tried to read them, I think, honestly. Bananas and Pajamas, though. Oh my god, yes. Bananas is just such a big thing here. Said Bluey wouldn't have happened without little Elvis Jones and Truck Stoppers. Wow. Yeah. God, I remember little Elvis a little bit. Not much, but. Show on in background when you clean out your place. Yes, I'm good with this. I messaged Ham and Lady this morning and I'm like, I need help Marie Kondoing my apartment. I've reached the point where I just have no spare cupboard space at all. And it's actually like sitting in the back of my brain annoying me that I just can't. And like the cupboards I have are also overflowing. So I messaged them this morning and I was like, I need help because I'm very bad at deciding to let go of stuff. And I'm also planning to get a cool Lifeline soon to pick up some stuff because I have a bookshelf and I already have 4 bags of stuff from when I did like the clothes clean out a while back, and I did actually decide to get rid of some of my books. I have 4 bags of stuff, and I haven't even touched my cupboards yet. And so I was like, okay, while I'm calling Lifeline to come get a bunch of stuff, because they'll come out with a truck and pick up all the things, I'm like, okay, I should just go through everything, just get rid of a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. I'm so used to the train doors opening on my damn Queensland train. Oh, no. But they're all of the HTS. Were they all filmed there? I thought the latest one wasn't. I mean, maybe. I wouldn't know. I love that one of the recommendations on Just Watch from H2O is Teen Wolf. God, I used to watch Teen Wolf and it was so bad. Like, it really was just so bad. There was easily, like, one actor / character carrying that whole thing. And then a few others who were close, and then just... And now I'm like...
Oh, is there something you should know?
No, you don't have to say anything.
Oh, no, I clicked through to Netflix, and... Wait, is it on? Oh, it is on episode 1. Never mind, I don't actually want to start watching that right now. Teen Wolf have similar audiences. Yeah, and I feel like they were far enough apart in years that, like, at least Australians who grew up watching H2O are like, oh yeah, Teen Wolf. But no. I'm also really... Oh, what was the... Oh, I found it recently. There was a adult mermaid show, like, thriller? Horror? Not horror, it's a thriller, I guess. Adult thriller mermaid show. Filmed in Queensland a couple years back, like just before COVID, which I really, really like. And I actually went and checked the other week if the season 2 had been filmed, because it was meant to film a season 2. And it hasn't been explicitly cancelled, but because COVID happened, like, it hasn't been filmed, which I'm really mad about, because I really liked it. It wasn't like the greatest show ever, but at the same time, it was good. And especially having watched H2O as a kid and being like, I know exactly, like, the people who are working on this show watched H2O as a kid. I'm gonna send you guys the IMDb. I don't even know if you can watch Tidelands outside Australia. I have no idea. It's on Netflix. I assume you probably can. But yeah, that's... If you want to see, like, modern, adult, Australian, like, Australian modern fantasy shows, like Tidelands, I can see all the inspirations from H2O and even Round the Twist a little bit, I guess. It's been a couple years since I watched it now. But yeah, Cybergirl. Oh my god, yes, Cybergirl. Spellbinder is also... I need to look this up. What is Spellbinder? I'm not sure I recognize this one. Oh, vaguely, but... Oh my god, it's that actor. Well, I recognize one of the actors, that's for sure. 1995. I think I might have been a bit young for this one. 1995 to 1997. Yeah, I might have seen some reruns, but I wouldn't have seen it when it was coming out. I just thought of what was the post-apocalyptic one from New Zealand? Myself get rid of clothing I shouldn't be holding on to. That actually feel... Yeah, I like doing that kind of cleaning stuff. I usually feel good after I've like cleaned out a bunch of crap from my cupboards and stuff. And I'm used to doing it with clothes. I'm really bad at it with anything else. Tribe, yes. Watch Mortified? No. I don't think so. Oh, I just immediately saw like the poster for it. Wait, what is this? Now that I'm looking at this looks really familiar. Was this? Well, it's on YouTube. There we go.
In exactly 1 minute, my life will end. Not because I'm sick or hit by a runaway train,
Oh, goodness, it was one of these school things.
But if he saw the notice about the parent talent quest, he'd go in it, and that would be bad.
Talent quest? What talent quest?
Oh, I suddenly remember this.
We need some DNA testing.
Oh no. I remember Mortified now. I wish I hadn't, but I remember Mortified now. Oh god. Are they sirens? It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit, it leans into more the siren mythos than like the nice mermaids, Eric, so. I'm a hoarder too, my family might be worse though. I try to, don't worry, I'm okay. Yeah, my parents are both hoarders. They hoard specific things, but my parents are both hoarders and I'm determined to not. I feel almost in reaction, I actually lean more towards like minimalism. So, like even just, there's a bunch of stuff on my desk at the moment and it's driving me slightly crazy. Like I need to tidy it off. But I'm also just, I don't, partly because I get very attached to stuff, I don't like having too much stuff because there's more things that I'll get sad if they break or I lose them or something. And I also just don't feel like I need a lot of stuff much. So, I don't know. I know I have a bunch of stuff in here that I've accumulated in the last like 6 years of living by myself that I just don't need anymore. And some of it I'll keep. Like I have a sewing machine I haven't used in 5 years. But I'll keep it because that is actually a useful thing and kind of annoying to replace if I do get rid of it and then need one later. But I have a bunch of stuff that I'm like, I should just get rid of this. So, yeah. Where am I? So used to the Cleveland line being purple. Why is it blue now? I have no idea. That's weird. Between my mother, obsessive cleaner, and my grandma, actual clinical order. Yeah. I've definitely gone like pretty far from it where my parents are. They just have stuff everywhere in the house. And it's arranged, it's decent. Like mum and dad both put a lot of this stuff away in cupboards. And everything they hoard has a practical use, even if they have to invent a practical use for it, like Christmas lights display. But yeah, I just don't like stuff. This background, like the whiteboard behind me and the shelves, are like the craziest part of my entire apartment, I'd say. Like the place with the most stuff is easily this corner of my entire apartment. Everything else is a lot. This is not representative of my apartment at all. Everything else is a lot better. So, actually, Act Falls shows? I think any of the 2000 had the same car. Oh, yeah. My archive drive that ripped off iView Mini. Yep. I wish Tribe hadn't been cancelled. I'm so mad at that. I watched Tribe so many times. It was great. Australian bit kid in the 90s and didn't watch Madeline. As in the animated, the French, Madeline the little French girl. That was so good. This modified protagonist is a precursor to Jeff. Who's Jeff Heffley? I don't actually know. It's no main girl from Mortified. Really? I guess I've known a few people who were like extras on some of the sets and stuff. Set for that. A bit old for it when it dropped. God. Basically, the only person who survived Mortified was whoever played Brittany. Oh god, Marty did. Oh my god, Saddle Club. I read and watched Saddle Club. That was a big thing. Watch Chopper? I don't think so. Do you want to do at least damn 360 and PS3 games and all the consoles? Ah. Why is it retracting mins? What? I can't even like unretract the message. That's weird. What did YouTube just do? Okay. Break one with the golf club. I mean, Jim, I'm not entirely surprised that if anyone here was going to break a game with it or a console with a golf club, that it's you, but also, what? Title maybe. Oh, yeah, another one I haven't read or watched, so. I used to threaten me with my grandmother's house, considering I helped clean that shit out when we moved her. Yeah, good threat. God. Yeah, I helped a bit with my grandparents' house when we had to clean that up, and that was a lot of stuff. Although a lot of it was cooking implements, like she just had a massive kitchen, so. But God, I love thinking about all the shows I watched as a kid because they were all just so weird. Like they really were. And actually, I I'm really amused. I've been thinking about my taste in like books and movies lately. And like I've mostly stopped watching movies and animes for a while. I just don't feel like watching any of them at the moment. Um and in particular for quite a while now I've been starting to feel everything was really predictable and samey. Um Case in point, Marvel. I really liked that at the beginning, even just because it was something different. Because I didn't really read the comics much as a kid, so it was like just all these new concepts and things I hadn't seen before. And same with a lot of movies I've seen, which aren't many really. I don't watch movies very often, but like I feel like I've hit a point where I'm like most things I watch are just the same tropes, the same character archetypes, etc., etc. And I'm like, yeah. Oh my god, the fruit store. They're on YouTube. You can find them on YouTube. I actually went and looked them up a few times. If anyone hasn't ever seen the fruit, oh my god, the fruit videos. Hang on. I think you literally just have to look up fruit animation. Nope. That? No, okay. It's no longer like the first thing that turns up. That's really sad. Um, I remember finding. Oh, I found it. Soup opera. That's what it's called. Hang on, hang on. Let me share my screen. This will. Do 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 do. That one? That one. All right. Soup opera. Hang on. Let me click the thing. This may be loud. I apologize. If it'll load. Oh yeah, I have all these things. Please ignore. It's not the same experience without the music, so I'm turning it up. And yes, you're watching the whole thing because, yes. Music. Oh my goodness. Just the plain noise. Oh my goodness. Yep. Super opera. That was a thing. Half the time I was more keen to watch that than like whatever the actual show I was meant to be watching was. It was just like one of the best things that was on TV. It really was. Canadian teen shows and I heard a lot about the Canadian ones more recently, but I can't remember them ever being on TV when I was watching, which is weird. Her song is stuck in me. Once you hear it, you can never unhear that bloody music. Angela Anaconda. Oh my god. I had forgotten about Angela Anaconda. That was a thing. Yes. Jeez. That was just like, I remember kind of liking it, but also why? Why was that done the way it was? I don't know. I got sick of books because they got samey, but then I read one good recent book and I went to forget it. Forget I ever read it so I can read it. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I've gone down a rabbit hole because I'm actually writing a heap and I was looking into writing advice videos on YouTube, which is probably a bad idea, but anyway. I found one channel which is the girl like reviews books. I think she writes, but it's mostly her channels mostly seem to be from the point of view of a reader, and she does a lot of reviews, etc., etc. But she's done this series of videos that are Dear Authors, and it's like a critique of books generally and the things that are good and bad. And like she had 2 whole videos just on main characters and how to have like a compelling main character and the stuff that when she's reading and she got her community to send in comments, the stuff that they would just like hate or find really boring and stuff. And that was really interesting. And she had a bunch of like, I agreed with a lot of her points, which like from, I keep trying to read published books over the last few years, and I always get like a chapter in and I just can't. Like, it's just boring. Meanwhile, I read whatever the hell I find on the internet on my phone every day, and I I literally read through a story, a one story that's not even finished yet, recently, that was 700,000 words. Like a normal novel is like 70 to 100,000, I guess. This thing's 700,000. I read it in a week. And it was just so good. And it had arcs. It could have been 3 separate books easily. Like it had 3 very clear stories in it. But the person just keeps writing it and they just keep putting it up as more and more of the same thing. So it's now 700,000 words. But like that was so, I just kept reading it. Like I could not put it down. It was so good. And I just haven't had that experience with a published book in years. Like I really just haven't. And I couldn't figure out why for a very long time. But it's been interesting watching these like writing advice things, etc. Because I'm finding that like there's things I agree with and there's also things I really badly disagree with. Actually, here's one. For anyone who reads books a fair amount, here's a question. You know when you have the dialogue tags? So like, hello, so-and-so said. How are you? Good, other person said, etc. Like they said, she said, whatever, John said, etc. That's a dialogue tag. And not necessarily said, like any of those words that fit in there. I was watching this one video from, I think she's an editor. And she was like 20 tips for, or 20 mistakes amateur writers make. And one of the first things that she said, and she was like really, really vehement about, was fancy dialogue tags. So instead of saying she said, saying she whispered. And like, I get that some people overuse the hell out of those. Like, you don't need to do it every single time. But she was like, do not use them. Like, you should be using said or told or like one of the basic ones, or just not, because you don't need it on every line anyway. And that's it. Like, don't use the fancy ones at all. And it was just like, I couldn't stand that. If I was reading something and there was no like tone indicators, basically, like there's just a big long conversation and it's going back and forth, and you know there might be a bit of in between describing what the characters are doing or whatever, but there's no description of how they're talking. Like, I'm thinking about how I'm talking now and I'm like emphatic about the way I'm talking, I'm gesturing, all these other things, etc. And like, if I was writing about someone talking the way I'm talking right now, I don't know what descriptor, what tag I'd use, but I'd use something that isn't just said. And I just like, I don't know. Does anyone else? Does that like bother anyone else? And I said, I was talking to a lady afterwards about it, and she mentioned, and I've seen this other places, that like if you just use said, your brain kind of just skips over it, and so you're just really processing the dialogue. But I'm like, I read every word on the page, and so if you're just saying said a million times, it's repetition, and it drives me crazy. And I don't have that tonal indicator of like, it's literally the same reason people have started putting like /s and /j and whatever else in text, because it's textual communication. You can add extra tone and give more context about how someone is talking and how someone's feeling by using a dialogue tag that isn't just said. And I'm like, yeah, exactly, Jim. Like there's no extra context if you're just saying said, unless if you're doing it just to say, just to like, you know how there's a long conversation, and if you don't have any dialogue tags, and then just nobody can tell who's saying what, then yeah, like throw some seds in. Or if you're using, like, don't always use fancy dialogue tags, like use them when they're necessary, and otherwise use said, etc., etc. But like, it's American, but remember seeing a small child and then discovered it. Rediscovering. I don't know that. My so-called life. I don't remember that one. I hate writing dialogue tags and skip over them when I read. Huh. Also being excessive use, the only form I can be favorably is excessive use of the phrase the other woman. Oh god. Yeah. I think it needs to be used sparingly. Prefer it when the dialogue is much when action too. See, I tend to do that. I was literally writing something last night, and the conversation was largely between a group of 3 people who were like co-experts on a thing, and then some other people who didn't really know anything about it. And I was finding I was going back and forth, like quite a few things, like a question would be asked, and then each of the 3 people would respond something. And I found myself a couple of times using like, this person said this person said this, which was fine. But then there were a couple of times where I was like, this person nodded and then said, you know, something. And then the next sentence also started with, so-and-so nodded. And I was like, no. So I tend to intersperse. Yeah, I tend to intersperse like dialogue and actions. And I try to, like, I had a character who, it's a magical setting. Basically, the scene starts with shit goes south and there's like a magical backlash and all the magicians feel it. And so, and I had, each of the 3 characters had a different, like they reacted differently to this feeling, but they were all like very freaked out by it. And so 2 of the characters managed to fall off their chairs onto the floor. One was already standing and like tripped over his chair and fell. So fun. But the 3rd character, she just like locked up. And so I had her like, you know, her shoulders were up to her ears and she was like gripping her armrest super, super hard. And so then while she was talking later, she was like slowly unclenching her hands as she relaxed, like consciously unclenching her hands as she relaxed and stuff like that. So yeah, I try and mix the dialogue action, because yeah, if you just have like lines back and unless the only time I will do lines of dialogue back and forth is when it's like a pacing thing. If I specifically want like a really fast-paced back and forth conversation, then I'll have short lines of dialogue back and forth really quick, but only like, I'd say if I have more than a dozen, I would start going, no, that's way too many. Because by that point, you start losing track of who's saying what. So, yeah. As a writer, this is interesting. Yeah, I found some really interesting. Let me know if you want some YouTube links, Wilds, because I found some very interesting videos today. Interesting something. Advice things, I guess. I don't know. Interesting videos. So maybe not like, yeah, like I've always found, because I tend to write a lot of emotions into my stories. Like I've always found that. And so, uh, but I try not to always, I try not to as much as possible say like, so and so felt sad. It's like, no. So yeah, it's usually more the like, yeah, describing how they visibly look sad instead. So, which I mean is the usual show versus tell thing. So, yes. Yeah. I'm trying to like, okay, hang on. Let me go see if I can find a snippet that isn't going to be. I'm trying to work on original stuff at the moment and it's not flowing, which is driving me slightly crazy. So I think it's also because I'm trying to write the first chapter and really my brain just wants to write future chapters, which I should probably just sit down and do anyway. But where was the, what was that one? Also things like tone. Like if I say, I just saw a line in something I was writing the other day, which is not great. I wrote this at like 2 a.m. and it's pretty terrible, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing out. But anyway, it's a sci-fi thing. But anyway, there's a line in here. I've got wounds, the younger one asked, their voice going high with surprise. Why? So yeah, I try and use like the tonal things, which unfortunately I know don't always translate across cultures. So yeah. But I think sometimes I like to use that instead of like a fancy dialogue tag, do like their tone was dark or their voice was gravelly or whatever. I don't like I don't think I've ever used gravelly in my life. I don't like that word. It's overused. So, and yeah, then the very next line in that is just Blake shrugged, affecting nonchalance, which still feels like weird wording. It cleans them or makes the bleeding stop faster or something. So yeah, there's no dialogue tag in that one. That whole thing is a conversation. It's like a, how many words is that one? 2,100 words, and the whole, like basically the whole thing is conversation. I think that was why I got a bit missed. It's like just it's a scene. It's not like a story really, but it's long, and I tried to fit too much explanation into it, and it just got very overdone. Oh, something. Yeah, it's sort of. I've been writing so much lately. Like my brain has just been very focused on it, which you've noticed. But it's also sort of like half the things I've written in the last month, I've just immediately like I've just not done it. I write through them and then I'm like, no, this idea is not good, or I'm just not writing it right. The one I'm most proud of at the moment, I actually drafted it at midnight a couple weeks ago. I wrote 3,000 words in 3 hours, which was fast for me. And I was like, this is great, cool. But I knew that it was good. Like what it was like 3 scenes in a row. But I knew that the characterization was off because I'd blitzed through it so fast and I'd had like the sequence of events and like the conversation in my head and sort of the emotions I wanted to hit. But I didn't take the time to do the characterization while I was writing it the first time round. So I went back and did some editing the other night. And one, it's ended up like 700 words longer. Two, I shifted some events around. I actually like combined 2 different conversations / scenes into one. And it was like, I deleted a bunch of words and it still ended up being 700 words longer. Because that was just like, that works so much better. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Ham. I have so I run Grammarly, which I do ignore half the time because it's, yeah. But the writing app I use, NovelPad, actually has its own syntax grammar thing built in as well, which I also ignore half the time because it's very picky. But it's less about just spelling and such and more, it's more advanced grammar, I guess. So it does actually point out some very useful things sometimes. And it's really good in particular of like, it'll, like I'm looking at a thing right now, it's highlighted 5 words. And it says readability may be enhanced by using one word instead. It's really good for that, which doesn't always work with my writing style because I have a tendency sometimes to use adjectives. Something. I'll throw one extra word into a sentence to like emphasize the next word. I think it's adjectives I want, I don't remember. But yeah, it doesn't like it. Every time I do it, it's like, you should remove this word. I'm like, no, I'm not. But Brandon's been writing stuff in my head, I just haven't typed. Yeah, that was sort of like, yeah, in the Uber to the dinner last night, my brain just suddenly had there's sort of a scene that's been sitting in the back of my brain for a couple weeks now, and I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. And I just suddenly figured it out in the Uber to the dinner last night. Of all the times, the one time I don't have paper and pen on me, I had a pen, I didn't have paper. So I ended up just taking some notes in my phone, but I hate writing on my phone. Like, you guys have seen me in Discord. Like, if I don't go as far as using like the letter U for YOU, but most of my shorthand comes from the fact that I just hate typing on a phone. And so I ended up writing some notes for the scene that I had in my head, where I've literally just written the dialogue. That's it. Like, no speech marks, nothing. It's just what the characters are saying. And I'm hoping that that's enough once I sit down to write it, probably tomorrow, that I'll actually remember like what I was thinking yesterday. AI grammar check, but if one doesn't know the correct use of there and that, yeah. But it's also like, I saw a big thing on it the other day from there's a English teacher slash poet slash author that I follow on YouTube. She does some interesting videos as well. And she made one about why she like not hates Grammarly, but doesn't really recommend it. And she said in particular, if you don't already have a certain level of knowledge about English, it just teaches you bad things. Because the biggest thing with it is it's not always correct. It will suggest the wrong thing. And if you don't have a certain level of knowledge about English, then you can't tell when it's giving you bad advice. Which is a really good point. Because I was like, yeah, I do ignore Grammarly and the thing in my writing app maybe a third of the time. So, but that's because I look at something and I go, either no, it's completely incorrect, that is not how grammar works, or that is maybe a theoretically better option, but not my writing style. So, it's a good entire short story mapped out. It's an update to what I've been working on for the past 12 years. Oh boy. I hate writing anything other than pen and paper. Yeah. Listening English classes so fuck Grammarly. Yeah. I find it's just like, it's nice that it catches things. But yeah. See, I'm thinking like, Ham, it sounds like you're the type of person to outline a story. I don't. I've tried so many times and I'm like, no, if I outline stories, my motivation for it just dies. And this was one of the videos I found today. I had videos playing in the background while I was working, which is a bit distracting, but yeah, I got stuff done. It was Brandon, what's his name? He is an author. I've actually been meaning to read his books for a while, and now I'm even more meaning to read them because he has some very good points. He was saying that there's 2 types of authors. There's what do you call them? Gardeners and architects. Architects are the ones who like outline everything and that works for them. But when he was talking about gardeners, which is a term someone else coined, the first thing he said was that for a lot of these people, if they outline a story, their brain goes, oh, it's finished now. And then they have no motivation to continue. And I was like, yes, that's me. If I outline a story, I just can't write it anymore. Like, it doesn't matter how much I enjoy it, how much I'm like keen for a story. If I do any kind of outlining, even in my head, I lose all interest in actually writing it. Because it's like, it's done. I figured it out. That's it. We got the answer. Done. Bye. So, yeah. I've seen him work around that. So I figured out over the last couple of years of writing that I have to pick themes, which again, okay, I'm just gonna find this lectures. It's an actual lecture series. Like this author guy got someone to video his lectures and he's just put them up. It's great. Writing lecture, Brandon. It's Brandon something. Found him. Brandon Sanderson. Where was I going with that? Oh, he was talking about promises.
Welcome to
He was like, at the beginning of your story, or somewhere near this beginning, you make promises about the tone, the type of book it is, and the plot, kind of. Like, what is the character's goal that we're going to be working towards? And I'd always thought of this more of like the themes of a story, etc. There's one I was writing the last couple of years, which I finished, which I really need to go back and do more. I've done a round of editing. I need to go do more editing. But it's around change, and in particular change being like foisted on you and you having to deal with that, whether it's to accept it or to not. And it was also, honestly, I was depressed as hell when I started it, so it was dealing with that a bit as well by accident. But yeah, he was talking, I've always thought of it as like themes and such, and tropes, I guess, but he was talking about like the promises that you make. Goal? You mean things that just don't happen to them and they do or don't deal with it? Am I wrong? What do you mean by that, Han? I'm not sure. I lost track of which part of my ranting you might be responding to. But yeah, I realized that I start with the, well, still themes somewhat, but I start with the promise or promises and then work from there. So I'm like, I was like, right, I don't outline anything in terms of scenes or events or even the end goal half the time. I don't know what's gonna happen. Meh. But I have like the theme I want to explore, or like the meta problem I want to explore, and then I sort of have like the promises of like, okay, we're gonna start with this character who wants this thing, or like this problem that we want to resolve. And so yeah, and then the story just goes from there. I really don't know how my stories are going to end. I'm currently struggling with a thing that I'm pretty sure is going to be just like, it's just a short story. I think it's going to end up being around 10,000 words. I've written 4,000. And now I'm like, where do I go from here? I kind of know what the next like 2 scenes are, but they don't flow, so I need something to bridge it, and then I'm not quite sure where to go from there. I have like a very vague idea, but I'm sort of like, this isn't quite, doesn't feel right. So, you want to explore? Yeah, my characters don't have goals. Right. See, my characters usually do. At least my main character. Although I don't have goals as the... It may not always be a goal, it might be a trait. That might be the better way of talking about it sometimes. Like, I'm thinking of the thing I wrote the last couple of years, and it was really just... The main character does not like change. And he has good reasons for it. Like, there's been shit that's happened in his life and he doesn't like it. But also, he's just stubborn as fuck and doesn't like change. And the story I'm trying to work on at the moment, I sort of had an idea for the character in my head, but I realized literally this afternoon what I want to do. And she's that kind of person who, one, will pull an all-nighter researching something because she's just gone down a rabbit hole and that's what she wants to do. And like completely random topics, just for the hell of it. But it was also like the kind of person who, like me, will like see something that needs doing or needs fixing and just do it. And not necessarily always to good ends. Because sometimes you go to do that and then you're like, oh shit, I don't have all the info. Or you go to do a thing and then you actually make it worse. And it's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so I'm taking this character who's prone to going down rabbit holes and just jumping on things, basically, and throwing her into a setting that she doesn't know. Like, just throwing us somewhere completely new and different, and dumping her in the deep end. That's it! I have the themes, I want the themes to be around change again, but this time around sort of personal change, but also not losing yourself in the process, like adapting to things, learning how to deal with changes, but not losing yourself. So yeah. Write the future, then adding correcting fill. Yeah, I think I need to do that. Because this story is really, like, I'm just struggling with the beginning. And I get the feeling I'm trying to start too early. I saw a thing from Neil Gaiman recently about writing scripts for movies and stuff. And apparently there's a saying about, like, was it right? It was something like, you write yourself in too early, and then you write yourself out too late. And then you go to review a scene, and you realize it'll be a lot better if you just cut, like, the first bit and the last bit. It's like, yeah, writing yourself into a scene and then writing yourself out again. Was it in late, out early or something? I think that was the short version of it. I don't remember. But I was looking at what I'm trying to do with this chapter 1, and I'm like, I think that's what I'm doing. I think I'm trying to, like, start too early, and therefore I'm just explaining a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Alright. Have fun, Eric. See you all. So, Australian Southern similar to American Southern? No, I feel like you need to go inland to hit that. I feel like I also don't think we get that bad, really. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm not sure about the inland thing either. Inland to an extent. And then you keep going inland and it gets better again. No, do everything out of order and connect it. Yeah. See, I've tried to do that before and it didn't go well for me. So I'm sort of a little bit wary of trying it again. But, like, I think I need to with the story. Because I think there's a bit too much about it that's sort of... I have these points in my head, and I need to get those out. Even just to get the characterization right. Like, once I've written the characters a bit, then I think I can come back and write the first chapter. And it'll actually flow correctly. Also, one of the characters is basically like a magical AI. Trying to figure out how that works. I like the concept. It's fun to play with. But there's a, like, magical AI in this bloody thing. And I'm just like, I don't. Why am I doing this to myself? See, in the midst of writing, I've seen Lauren's story and I'm trying to piece it all together. This was not meshing. I have seen quite a few things about, like, sometimes you need to just keep gathering ideas. And even if you have ideas for multiple stories, then sometimes you just end up needing to, like, match two stories together, and that's how you get an actual good story. I know I've gone before from trying to, like, plot out a story and then make characters to fit, etc. And I'm sure that's a way that things can work. But I've overwriting way too much. I figured out I have to start with a character. And then I can build from there. Your old portion just hasn't been working. And I kind of aged out of it. But right now I know it's happening 15 years later, so I might write that. That makes sense. Yeah, like, I have things that I wrote when I was 12. I have a whole medieval fantasy world that me and Emma wrote. And, I still love it. Like, it still sits at the back of my head. I'm like, I'd really like to go back to writing that one day. But I also just don't read that genre anymore, which is weird because that was, like, all I read for years there. It's like one day I might go back and write, like, this epic medieval fantasy story. Multiple races, elf-like races, etc., etc. I get the feeling that might be even harder to pull off than the, like, modern fantasy I'm trying to write at the moment, though. Which is impressive, because go girl, this is doing my head in. So, yeah. I don't know why I had to... See, that's That's one thing I can't work out now, is I don't know where my writing falls. Because I was like, because I read YA stuff for a very long time. But then I realized I don't think I really write it. And I don't really read it as much anymore. I really need to get more into just adult fantasy. Like that's why I've been finding a bunch of recommendations. Oh, I did download, and it's not great because Brisbane libraries don't have many of the books I like to read, but I downloaded Libby recently. It's an app. It's on Android and iPhone. And if anyone didn't know, when you loan a book from a library, the author gets paid. They get paid at like the end of the year or something. Like they get sent a bunch of money at once, not every time you loan a book. But if you loan a book from a library, the author gets paid. That's like 15 cents or something, but whatever, you know, it adds up. It's something. Also, I saw a thing recently about people like buying books on Amazon, reading them, and then returning them because Amazon lets you do that. Like you can finish a book and then return it, which sucks. Because apparently it like gives the author the money and then takes it back. Anyway, if you didn't know that libraries give the authors a cut, that's a thing. And because I usually read on my phone, I was like, okay, I need ebooks, please. So I grabbed Libby, and it connects to libraries that are part of the system, and so you put in your like your library card. Like if you're part of a library that is part of like the Libby network, you put in your library card number, and it works with your library system. So I signed up for the Brisbane libraries because my old card expired finally. It's been so long since I loaned a book that my like 10-year card actually expired. And I signed into a Libby, and now it's not the best interface I've ever used. One, it's in dark mode, which is great. But you can tag books to like read them later and stuff. And so every time in the last like week that I've had a book recommended or I've seen a book recommendation, I've just looked it up. To be fair, it's only had half of them because Brisbane, it's not Libby's fault. Brisbane libraries don't have the kind of books I like. They're just not as popular. But every time I do find one, I tag it. And so now I have a reading list of library books that I can just press a button and loan. And then the authors will get money. So I did see something about if you're reading ebooks, like even if you're reading a book and you decide you don't like it, just like scroll the pages to the end. Because some things depend on for some things, the author only gets paid if you actually finish the book. But I did see a few people who are like, even if I get like halfway through a book and I don't like it, I'll still just like scroll to the end because then the author gets paid. So yeah. Oh wow, you can add multiple libraries. I didn't even know that. I'm looking this up right now. I'm like, oh, I can just keep adding libraries. I wonder if I can find more libraries that'll give me more books. That'd be good. But yeah, and like it, because you're loaning the books, it manages all your loans and stuff. It tells you when stuff's due back. There's a timeline? Oh wow, that's actually really good. Okay. There's like a book club thing? Is this from the Brisbane? Oh yeah. Oh, the Brisbane City Library has like a bunch of like recommended titles and blah blah. Also, there's a bunch of Australian ones on here for those who are in Australia and can access the Brisbane libraries have a whole bunch of Indigenous books, by the way. Libby, Libby. It's actually kind of cool. I like it. It doesn't have all the books I'd like, but it does seem to have a lot of like the popular young adult fiction. So scroll to the end. Only in some apps, but it's a thing. So, and I don't know which apps, Eric. So just in case, it's nice to scroll to the end. Looks so weird to find Harry Potter academics. As in, you did find them or you didn't find them? In my teens, it probably is more relevant in life now than it was then. Yeah, like I need to reread Sophie's World because I loved it as a kid and a teen, but I reckon it'd be like really good now. I just haven't gone back to reading it. Now, it's struggling not to blend genres for the sake of differentiating from what's in the market. Yeah, there's like, I don't know. There's just a lot of weird stuff. it has been really interesting watching Brandon's lectures. I think even just if you're a big reader and not just a writer, because I'm definitely picking out like things he's talking about that I prefer. So like he was talking about types of twists in stories. And he was like, well, there's like the standard twist, and then there's expansion, which is, you kept equating things to Star Wars because that was easy, where it's like you thought you were going to get X, and now you're going to get X and Y. And there was also the subversive one, which I found interesting that he said is really hard to pull off, which I could see how. But I also found a thing recently, and if anyone hasn't seen this, I should find what it was called again. I found an article the other day about Western stories versus Eastern stories. And I had a sudden realization that this might be part of why I really prefer Eastern stories a lot, to the point I literally have translated books at this point, like translated Chinese books, because yes. Because in Western storytelling, the standard conflict is the standard story is based around conflict, right? You have your like 3 acts, which is setting it up, conflict appears, resolution, or something like that. And the thing I found is that in Eastern storytelling, that's not the standard story structure. The standard structure is you have an intro, you have your like hang on, where is it? You established in the first act, developed in the second, then the third act introduces a new surprising element. So a bit of a subversion sometimes. And then the fourth act actually pulls everything together. And I was like, that explains so much. Because there's been so many stories I've tried to read, and it's felt a lot like, honestly, that just there's conflict for the sake of conflict. People are like, oh, I wanted to write this story, and it's about this character and this setting and blah, blah, blah. And I'm writing a story, so it needs conflict, so I'm going to shoehorn this thing into it. And I'm just like, no. Skid, hello, how you doing? So yeah, I was just like, as soon as I read this, I'm like, this makes so much sense, because I've always just found that Eastern structure so much more interesting. Like, I don't know. And I think the closest thing in the Western 3-act structure is that expansion twist, where you thought you were going to get one, like your promise from the beginning was one thing, but then you get to the conflict stage, and instead of, maybe as well as a conflict, but you get an expansion instead. You get more. And it's sort of that like opening up of the story and the universe and the characters and everything. I find that really interesting. And so I'm like, yeah, guess in the West we're taught, yeah, exactly. Like we're taught the 3 or 5 act structures. I think there's like the 2 of them. But yeah, the typical Eastern structure is the 4 structures with the like subversive twist in it. Not subversive, like surprising twist. Fire! Hello, how you doing? So yeah, I've been doing all this research recently because I've been writing so much recently. And I was like, okay, you know what, I should probably... Also, I was having a big chat with Lady last night. She's like, I wish more people who wrote did like just a creative writing course or something. And I was like, I was just randomly browsing YouTube and it started throwing me Brandon Sanderson's lectures. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna watch this now. Does improv. Yeah, that would be interesting too, actually. That's a very good point, RJ. I feel like I need to go down that rabbit hole now. Heartstopper seems to... I still haven't... Heartstopper is on my list. I need to do that. Plug in 2 hours before everyone, so it'd be pretty nice. Fair. That's how it feels watching Saki's take on House Moving. Yeah, because House was written... Isn't that by Wyn Jones? Actually, yeah, because that would be an interesting take on it. Because... Yeah, so Howl's Moving Castle was written by Diana Wyn Jones, who I assume is a Western author and would have followed a Western story framework. But then it was animated by Miyazaki. Now I feel a need to watch Howl's Moving Castle now, and now that I know all these things, like, deconstruct it. Yeah. Also, I need to read more by Diana Wynne Jones. I've read a few. I've never read Howl's Moving Castle, but I've read other things by her, and I really like them. At least like 10 years ago. I'm now just, this is literally my habit now, is whenever I find an author or something that I like, or I'm like, I should read them, I just literally just type it into Libby. I figure it's a good habit to get into. Diana Wynne Jones. Oh my god. Sometimes its search thing is a little bit dodgy. That's my only concern. Holy crap. 39 books. All right. Yep. Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, I'm literally just going in and tagging them. It's a little bit odd. It took me a while to figure out the whole tagging thing. Oh, the UI's being dodgy. Okay. But yeah, you can just tag it, and you tag it with like emotes. So I'm just tagging them all with a stack of books, and that's like my thing. Oh, Castle in there. In so many ways. Yeah, because I read I'm pretty sure Diana Wynne Jones did Time of the Ghost, which I read in high school and I love. Yeah, there we go. Time of the Ghost. I did a book report on this book. It was interesting. It's a very short book, but it was fun. Stressful salmon run was early. Oh no. I saw you got back to 400 at least. This changes everything. Orham, what are you thinking? Because interesting is putting things in PowerPoint. Oh boy. Film has a conflict with The Witch of the Waste, and Haya has to insert his warfare theme somewhere. Yeah. I really need to watch that now. That's Sears Lagoon. He also got The Ones Who Walk Away from Others, which is probably... Okay. I should... Wait, can I bookmark, like... I can't bookmark authors on this. This is the only thing. I wish I could do stuff like that. Anyone read Diana Wynne Jones's books and have any other recommendations? Curious. Oh, that's a sequel. This is a series. Okay, well we might... I'm just going to tag the first one in the series. Because then we have something. Yeah, I've never read... Actually, no, I lie. I did read an Earthsea. I'm pretty sure I read an Earthsea book. An Earthsea book? I'm assuming there's multiple. That did not come up with anything. Nope. Library does not have it. It's interesting reading something like Human Cabaret. It's stories within stories, and you'll see how it's structured because they're heavy on mechanical aesthetics. Interesting. Okay, I've never read that one either. I really, I fell out of reading just published books, honestly, 10 years ago. I have, basically anything I've read since, and I've actually finished the damn thing, I bought, because all the books on my bookshelves are things that I actually want to reread. Also, this is now driving me crazy. I moved it down earlier so I could take photos, and then, yeah. Yeah. As far as writing goes, sometimes I wonder why I bother writing in a more novel style when I clearly care more about dialogue than descriptions. Yeah, I have an interesting time with that sometimes. Actually, I had a lot of fun recently. I've been writing some stories in the form of letters. That's fun. Just as a break from normal writing, just to see what I could get across in just letter form. And it was particularly fun because one of the characters just doesn't give a shit and was giving one-word answers to stuff, and it was so much fun. All right, Wilds, see you. Thank you for hanging out. This was fun. I've enjoyed this stream a lot. I didn't know how you guys were going to react to me just ranting about writing for an entire stream, but you seem to enjoy it. Was this good? If I can get more of this damn original thing done, and I'm actually happy with it, I was half thinking of reading it on stream a little bit to if I can find the courage to do that and just to I don't know. I like reading through I read through my stories myself. I sit there and just read through my stories myself. But also, I don't know. It would be interesting to get your guys' feedback on some of it. Or just do you like it or not? That's crazy how Doctor Request become... God. That was... Yeah. Try to read through a visit to the Green Squad and also let's try and map out the relationships. So it actually was easier to follow. Interesting. Okay. Tim Ellis was referenced in B2. I think I know what reference you're talking about. Tales of Earthsea is a short story collection, though. That sounds about right. I think that's the one I read. Like, one book that had, yeah. TV movie with the dude from X-Men and Animals, of course. Currently stock photography. Interesting. Okay. I see book to a YouTuber recommending it, but I got too easily distracted, so I haven't gotten too far. I'm still impressed that I managed to get through the bloody Open New Twin Chronicles. Although not the latest one, because she finally released another. Wait, hang on, how many weeks did she have to? These are some of the biggest books I have ever seen and read. Open New Twin by Isabel Carmody. I used to have a bunch of the books. Mum kept finding them at op shops and stuff, which was kind of neat. But they're just so big. And it takes her like 20 years to release any of the books. Oh, look, I found a photo of the books. They're kind of massive. Like, I enjoyed them, but oh my goodness, they're massive. And it just felt like there was just a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like, it was an interesting world, but I don't know. I really don't know what she spent all the time, like, what all the words were. I don't understand. I'm just gonna, like, will that give you the picture? Wait, I should just show you on stream. This is... Okay, so this is the Open Newton Chronicles. Open Newton, I always mispronounce it. Type book exploring grief in the form of letters. Ooh, interesting. Okay. But I also have to get up at 4 for an... Jeez, yeah. Need to go to a poetry slam. I have considered that before. I wouldn't mind going to one. I do like poetry. I have tried writing. I have written poetry. I do have some poetry sitting around here. And I don't hate it. But I've also just never done anything with it. I'm just always like, fine. Vibing and just like spending time with your favorite person. I don't. I see how it is, Eric. It's like this is my favorite child, but I'm your only child. That's what you just reminded me of. I Robot was a short story collection. Huh. Yeah, okay. Aussie vibes are great vibes. Yeah, Open Newton was great. But like, these books, they're so big. Like, these are not small in like height and width. Like, these are normal sized books, and then these are massive. Like, I think these would be the same size as the really big Harry Potter books, if not bigger. And they're just so big. Like, look at this. I don't know how many pages these things are, but they're massive. Just way too big. Oh yeah, this is my internet playing up as usual. Come on. Yeah, size. Yeah. Yeah. And like, she just keeps writing more of them, and I think if they'd stopped... Where was I up to? I'm trying to remember which ones I've read. Hang on. I just remember, like, I finished a book, and I was like, yeah, this is... Like, it could have wrapped up here. It felt like it could have wrapped up. And then I went and looked, and she was still writing the next book, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I started reading the next book when it came out, like, 7 years later. And I think we just, like, suddenly went off to a different country, and there was a whole adventure thing, and I was just like, I don't care about any of these characters. Where are we? What is happening? So, yeah, I just kind of gave up on them at that point. Nope, wrong screen. Wrong screen. Oh, whatever. You guys get to see that for a second. I can't be really going back to it. There we go. Yeah, it just... they're just big books. They're really big books. Magician, that is too thick. Oh, magician? As in... is it not over here? I think I moved it elsewhere. I think Tilt might have given me a copy of the Magician. It's Magicians? The one that got turned into a show a while back that was on like Netflix, which I didn't mind, but I never finished it. Sitting in line at Sydenham with the author's autograph. Yeah. Just worried that today's authors will end up like Willem Dafoe's character in Fault in Our Stars. Oh? I don't think I've seen Fault in Our Stars. I'm not sure. Poetry slams make me feel untalented because of the people. Yeah, but I mean, if you're just going to listen and have a good time. Kind of wish I had the motivation to write more. Got motivated to start a script for a video, going over issues I had with an anime watch, but that's about as much as yeah, I mean, I was looking at my writing stats the other day, and I have stats back to 2013, so 9 years. I think most of the things I wrote before then were pen and paper, so yeah. But I wrote a lot. Like, I wrote the equivalent of a novel in 2013 and 2014. And then I did not write a single word for 2 years because I was in uni and I was busy and I was stressed and I was tired. And I would leave home at 7 a.m. in the morning and get home at 9 p.m. at night. And I was working on top of uni, and I just didn't, even when I had the time to write, I didn't have the energy. And I was actually, I was talking to my psychologist the other day, and I mentioned that, like, I did a bit of writing last year. I did a decent amount of writing. I finished a novel that I'd been working on for 2 years, and it's a decent, like, it's smallish. It's on the smallish side, but it's a novel. Like, it's a novel length. But even this year so far, I have written so much. And it's because I'm not feeling, well, particularly the last month or two, I'm not feeling as like stressed and tired and everything as I was last year, which you guys might be able to notice because I feel like I'm a lot more exuberant at the moment. Obviously, I've been missing streams because there's good days and bad days at the moment. Let's put it that way. Bad days I miss stream. Good days I stream. But I noticed that I often write, and this is one of the reasons I base my writing around themes and such, is I write to process things a lot of the time. I write about themes that I'm dealing with or I have dealt with in the past. Hence why change keeps coming up on in my stories, because I don't like change. But I keep doing stuff that keeps changing anyway. It's not the best. I'm not sure it's the smartest idea, but anyway. Thank you. And my healthy way of processing anything I'm dealing with is to write about it and get that like degree of separation from the issue by putting other characters in some variation of what I'm dealing with and then writing them through it and then like using that to process it myself. I know there's techniques in psychology that are similar. Like it's having that degree of separation so that you can think through something a bit more clearly without getting bogged down in your own head about it. I couldn't write for the last year. Like a lot of the time I would sit down and write. I managed to write this one story, and it's one of the roughest, most emotional stories I've ever written. Easily. Because the only times I could sit down to write were honestly on the really bad days. And then it would just be like pouring emotion out. And people have read this and have gone, this is good, but also, oh god, are you okay? And I'm like, I wasn't at the time. We're getting better. It's fine. But like, yeah, like the only times I wrote was when I really needed to write and really needed to get things off my chest. Which also meant I was just writing really sporadically, like once every couple of months and stuff. And I'd not write for like 3 months, and then I'd sit down and write like 5,000 words in one sitting. But now that I'm feeling a bit better, I've been writing a heap the last couple of months. I think I've already written more this year so far than I wrote in the last year, at least, if not the last 2 years. And I'm writing lots of different ideas. And the reason I started about my psychologist was she said that it made sense because, especially with processing things through my writing, my brain needed space to write and to think about writing and to think about the characters and the plots and all this other stuff. Like, I've been finding for the last couple of months as I'm doing whatever, like when I was in the Uber last night, my brain will just think about a scene or a character or whatever. Like, I was working this afternoon, I was writing emails, my brain went, I need a defining trait for this main character, and I just figured it out. And like, I haven't had that for the last year or so, really. Like, my brain has been too tied up in other things to have the spare room for just... My site tends to use the word sitting with things a lot, which I kind of like. And it's just like the idea of not necessarily thinking through something consciously, but just letting it sit in your brain and just processing it unconsciously, kind of. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I have not had the brain power to do much of anything the last year or so, let alone have part of my brain tied up with ideas about stories. And now that I do have time and energy, my brain's like, we're gonna write all the things. I think I've started like 8 stories in the last month. It's not great. That's what we're aiming to write a collection of short stories. That's what I've found as well. Like, I have my big novel. I have a couple of big novels that I'm sort of working on. But I have actually been writing a lot of short stories. Like the one I was mentioning earlier with the letters. That's actually been a few short stories where each one is a back and forth between 2 characters. That's it. Or 3 characters. One of the later ones was 3 characters. But each, like, it's not a whole novel written by letters. It's 2 characters having a conversation. And these various conversations are tying together vaguely, but I'm still just sticking, like, each one's like a couple of thousand words, really, because of the letter format and like blah, blah, blah. And I've also just been finding, like, I've gone down the rabbit hole of the whole sci-fi thing and the Space Australia and like this whole idea of like, we make contact with aliens and we're weird. Earth is weird. And they're like, how are you alive? Like, what the heck are you? And I love that idea. And I've been writing a bunch of just short things, like a couple of thousand words, that are based, like, each in that genre. And I've sort of started coming up with, like, alien races that I'm reusing between various things, because that's easier. So I guess they're kind of linked now. But I'm just writing a bunch of, like, a couple of thousand... Like, I can basically write one in a session. Like, I'll sit down to write of an afternoon or evening, and I can just write. Go into a really short story. Yeah, well, like, that's what I'm thinking, Fire, with the book I'm trying to write, where I'm stuck at chapter 1. Like, I think I need to go write all the, like, scenes that are in my head. And even if they don't end up being part of the actual book, they're practiced with the characterization and such, which I really need. That's actually something I used to... When I was 12 and writing fantasy novel, I have a bloody... Do I have it on me? No, it's somewhere else. I have a book, a notebook, that I dedicated to the story at one point. And the front of it was the actual story. And then the back of it was, like, notes about locations and characters and everything. And I actually at one point sat down and wrote a single page story of the life of each character. Like, each of them. There was, like, 7 main characters. It was way too many. But I was like, for every one of these characters, I'm going to write a page. Like, no more, no less, full page, plus minus like 2 lines of each character. And like pick a core event of their childhood, or like 2 core events of their childhood, and how they got to where they are, and write that. And that was really good. Like, that's one of the few reasons I have. Do I seriously not have that bloody thing here somewhere? Oh, actually, it's probably somewhere safe because it's old paper and it'd probably be falling apart by now. But yeah, like, that was super helpful. And then I've never done that with any of the others. No, I did it twice with the big novel that I finished last year. Well, January, I think. But not really the same, like, not to the same extent. I've never done that again with anything else to that extent. And now that I'm sitting down and trying to write big books again, I'm like, why have I not done this? Like, it makes sense to just sit down and write a bunch of stuff about the characters or the settings or whatever, just to figure it out in your head, even just for continuity, so that when you're writing, you're not having plot holes everywhere because you're making stuff up as you go. Yeah. Once writing out backstory villains and once writing it. I feel like a page was so long. I was like, yeah, but I mean, even like I follow a few writers on Tumblr, which has been great. I do actually have a couple books I now want to buy to read from them because I'm like, I think I might actually like their writing style, maybe. But one of them has also released short story, like she's released her novels. I think she's got 2 of them out now. But she's also released a short story collection. Because why not? And she's also got a Patreon because, you know, modern authors, internet. And she's been releasing new short stories in the universe on Patreon as her, like, you know, motivation to subscribe to her on Patreon. So that's kind of cool. I'm like, okay. And even, like, my favorite author ever is Tamora Pierce. And she's got a couple of short story collections now. And I like it because reading those short stories. Also, what was those books? Why do I feel like the name was Sabina? Sabine? There was a book. Ham, do you remember it? There was a book that went crazy when we were in, or when I was in high school. That was, if I asked Emma, I'm sure she'd remember because she was insane about them. There was a whole bunch of books and they were quite big. It took a bit to get through them. But then that had a collection of short stories as well. And I loved it. Honestly, I think I loved the short stories more than anything else because it fleshed out so many little bits of the world. Like, you have short stories about some of the side characters sometimes, or you have like a short story about a setting and like how it came to be how it is. And particularly if like ruins or something. And you can have a little short story that's set in the time before it was a ruin. It's really cool. I like it. So yeah, I think that's the thing I think I've had to come back to because I've done like this whole full loop and I went way down the rabbit hole of like how to properly write a book like 5 years ago. After I stopped writing for a couple of years and came back to writing, I was like, how do you write again? And I went through all these like tutorials and stuff and then like outline everything and do this and do that. And I tried all that. It didn't work for me. This is why I've like come around full circle and now I'm like, okay, yes, no, let's write the side stories. None of it ends up being useless. Either you've written it as like a character explanation or something, and then that helps you write the actual main story. Or it's a side story, which if you do end up publishing the story, you could also publish a side story as an extra thing. So, yeah. Hang on, I know I fell behind for a bit. I'm not confused. I need somebody to channel like improv. Yeah, I get that, RJ. I journal when I can't get something into writing. The years I wasn't writing, I would journal. It's really long around. I'll have like 3 paragraphs to a page. It's really like A4 page. It's really bad. But that's how I sort of got into dealing with stuff via writing fiction. Was I started out journaling and then it kind of, I get too into my own head if I journal. Like I'm thinking too much about the thing and I just spiral. So dealing with stuff via writing is a lot healthier because I don't do that usually, mostly. Some short novels, but I think I need to write them as short stories. Cheering anthologies easier than plotting out epics. Yeah, for sure. Like especially if you're trying to like figure out the idea or like trying to scaffold something. I feel like short stories are you just have to deal with less. You can have your A plot and your B plot, maybe. You could even just do an A plot if you want. I think, yeah, if you have a short story, you can just do an A plot. And then that's it. Nothing in my attempt to minute just in. Everest. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Use the sauce goes well with chicken as well. That makes sense. It'd be similar to like lemon chicken and stuff. Fair? Yes. Welcome back, Chaos. Not ringing a bell. I gotta remember what the hell it was. Oh, I can't remember anything that would be useful. I can't remember the author. I can't even remember the bloody plot. I really did like the short story collection more than anything else. Like that's the main thing I can remember. And all the titles were one word, if I'm remembering properly, which is really annoying for trying to remember what the hell they were. I need more info. I should, but I might need study guides to tackle it. Side stories just make me think of Witcher. I bought the first Witcher novel and I still haven't read it. I really need to sit down and do that. And I did get motivation right to me for a story idea. I just sat down and went for it. I saw it and realized I had to make up. Yeah, like that's the thing when I've actually had the motivation recently. I mean, I just sit down and write. And I have. No, I'm not going to show you because it's ridiculous. I do like Novelpad a lot. Like it's an app, it's a paid app, which admittedly is slightly helpful in motivating me to write. But it has a whole bunch of like really neat things in it. Anyway, I'm just looking at how many novels I have started. Novels. A bunch of these are collections of like short stories and things. One of them is literally just prompts. Chaos has sent me a few writing prompts a couple of times, and they're dumped into one of these novels. I have 16 of them. 2 of them are the same story because I just restarted the thing at one point. One is the novel I finished in January, and then there's 2 that are like the second and third book in that sequence, which I really need to write, and the short story prequel to that. That thing is a novel with the short story prequel, and I'm up to the sequel, which I need to sit down and write. Why is that? I just noticed I got one of my short stories is an entire novel by itself. Why did I do that? Anyway, I have 60 novels in here. It's a lot. It's every time I have to switch between them, I'm just like, Also, I love that my latest one is just called Weird Magic Thing. I don't have a title yet. I don't know what I'm doing with it. There's also just the Space Australia one. It's fine. Yeah, if you don't mind spending $7 a month, Novelpad's good. They just silently added commenting this week. Like, I'm pretty sure it didn't exist last week. It just suddenly, I logged in and the UI was slightly different, and I'm like, what do these extra buttons do? And I started clicking things, and now there's comments. I'm kind of hoping they might end up going the path where you can actually like add other people to your books and have editors and stuff in there. Don't know. But yeah, they just added comments last week. No warning. There's just comments now. And I'm like, cool, okay. So, but it has big things for managing characters and locations and time, like dates. I found the novel I finished in January. I sat down at one point, thanks to Novelpad, and put the dates for all my events in it. Okay, I figured an actual timeline and I put everything. And then realized 2 of my chapters were in the wrong order. I was looking through it, I'm like, because it actually like graphs. Like you can get it can graph a whole bunch of stuff, and you can get it to graph like your chapters and scenes on the timeline. And it went like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 3. I'm like, hey God, what have I done? So yeah, that was fun. Where am I? Constantly in my own head, you're fine. Yeah, but my head's not always a great place to be. So going even further into it than usual is not recommended. Tonkatsu chicken curry. Oh, nice. Half egg from ramen. Didn't they have it? I would have thought they would have had it in that place. Long haven't taken leaf out of Octopus book, and now I have 8 protagonists that are not. Oh no. Actually, I wonder. There was one thing I saw. So I really want to read Brandon Sanderson's, the guy who did the lectures. I really want to read his books now. In particular, one book that he mentioned in the lecture. The way he structured it is he actually took 3 stories and then I think he said put them between 2 covers. Like he took 3 whole plots with, you know, the full usual story archetype and everything, and then mashed them into one book. And I'm really curious to see how that played out. Like I'm curious how he pulled that off, and if there's like a clear, this is where one ended and this one starts, or if he's like they've mashed together smoothly. I wonder how that plays with the usual, 3 acts, 5 acts, whatever. But I can see how if you did that kind of thing as well, like, because I've had, like, the book that I wrote when I was 12 that had 7 main characters. And they did, now that I think about it properly, like, they did all kind of have their own subplot. Not all of them. There were subgroups that had subplots. And, like, the main plot was a whole, like, other country invading kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I realized thinking when I was watching the lectures and then thinking back about it, really what I'd done was taken, like, 3 or 4 stories in their entirety about the different subgroups of these characters, and then mashed it all together so that they weren't all running completely concurrently. Like, one started, and then the next one started a little bit later, and the next one started a little bit later. Which would have been a really chaotic book. Which probably explains why I never managed to finish that particular one. But, yeah. It was... Yeah, now I liked that one of the first things he brought in was, here is, the usual 3-act like, usual 3-act formula for a story. And here's where I just went, fuck that, we're gonna have 9 acts. Like, that was one of the first things in his lectures, and I'm like, I like this. I like this idea, because I am sick to hell of the usual structure. Like, stop. Makes it really predictable. So, yeah. On Discord, the thing I wrote last year. Ah, that rings a bell. Hang on, where was that? Oh my god, that's right. I vaguely remember reading this now. Yeah, I'm not screen sharing at the moment, I might know. I vaguely remember reading that. I never responded, apparently. I'm sorry about that. God. Do I need to set up, like, a writing channel in the Discord? I was thinking about it, but then I was worried it was just gonna be me ranting. But writing channel? Maybe? Hell's empty and all the devils are here. Time for some Milo. Yes, I agreed. It was always time to Milo. Unless you're an idiot like me, who made orange hot chocolate earlier and then had an allergic reaction, and then realized they used orange oil, which I'm allergic to. Yeah, if anyone in Brisbane wants orange hot chocolate, which I have opened, I can't eat it. I can't drink it. Probably if I made it, like, really weak, but then what's the point? It's hot chocolate. That was a bad idea. I feel better now. It's fine. So used to needing Tolkien on sticks. A stick is a stick. Yeah. It hasn't always been great either. There's a lot of... That's fair. Oh, that was where the hell is empty all the time. Yeah. Yeah, this is fair. I'm always, I have my psych appointments on Friday afternoons at, like, 2 or 3 p.m. Which is about the only time I can. But that means I usually go back to work afterwards. And most of the time I drive over there to the actual office and then drive back. And the drive's a bit good at, like, resetting. But the last couple of times I haven't been able to, so I've done telehealth. So I've been at home. And it's not the best trying to go back to work after having a psych appointment. It was kind of fine last time because we didn't really get into anything too heavy. But when I was talking to her last week, we did, and it wasn't great. I don't recommend. It wasn't awful, but I was kind of like, I think I ended up just going out and, like, standing in the sun in the courtyard for a bit afterwards because I was just like, I just need to stop for a minute. So, I made milk this week, so I have it. Yay! I'm curious to try the Eastern structure. Yeah, see, my brain also, after reading the article, my brain immediately went to, how could you mash up the Eastern and Western structures? And I now have a theory. I need to go reread a couple of the books I have, a couple of, like, the Chinese books I have. Because I have the feeling at least one of them actually does that. Like, it actually it has at least elements of both. And these are books that have been translated into English because they were that popular over here in the Western world. And I'm like, because, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of anime probably also uses that Eastern structure. And so those of us who are used to anime and manga are probably more used to it, and it's not so weird. But there's probably a lot of Western people for whom that would be a really weird experience reading. And so I'm like, do I want to admit to which books they ask it? Yes, I will. The stuff by, God, I just forgot their name. Hang on, let me go get them. They're pretty. I might as well show you guys. The books by TGCF. Oh, no, that was the MXTX? Yeah, I got the bloody title thing. MXTX. These ones. Which, honestly, I partly bought because China cracked down on this genre recently. It's now illegal for these books to be advertised in China. And so the author is in a bit of a bind where income, they, like, literally the site that they used to be advertised on in China, just had to delist them. If you search explicitly for the books, you can still find them, but they can't be featured anywhere. They had to be taken off all the top 10 lists that they were on. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I enjoy the stories, and also screw Chinese censorship. I'm going to give the author money. Unfortunately, the company that did the English translations is not the best company ever, but whatever. Yes, they have pretty art. Hang on, let me go grab the other one. I have one more comic. They're up to the second volumes. Where is this one? They're illustrated, and I love the illustrations so much. Like, look. No, you ham. I haven't finished TGCF. I started reading it before you could get it officially, and then the unofficial ones got I keep forgetting where the heck it. Look at the art. Look at it. It's so pretty. So yeah, I haven't finished TGCF. I've read this book. I'm waiting for the fourth volume. Can't remember how many there are total. But yeah, so no spoilers if you read this one. I haven't finished it yet. I was reading it unofficially, and then the official translations got announced, and the unofficial ones got taken down, which is good. But it means I haven't finished it. I'm halfway through the last book, and I haven't finished it. Yeah, people might recognize this one more so, because this is what got turned into the Netflix show The Untamed. It's interesting reading it versus watching it, versus reading the manga, which I've also done, and watch the animation, which are all slightly different, which is fun. But yeah, I have those. I think it's a quote from The Tempest. Yes, I recognize it. I do like that quote. I never found that quote I was trying to find the other day. That drove me crazy. The first scene I wrote for the story that was part of the main character reacting to a death. I mean, yeah, fair. Allergies of COVID is also fun. Yes. In Murakami, there's a book that came. Is that? Murakami as in the author? I thought I had, but apparently not. I'm not recognizing any of the same names of the books that I'm seeing here. Sister made Murakami shine at one point with candles because she liked his books. Wow. Okay. You reading it? Reading the English localization Splatoon manga, there's definitely a lot lost in tree. Oh my, okay, the one bad thing about these books is the translation guide at the back. They came with a whole, like, there's a whole thing of, like, there's a whole thing of extra content, which is really cool. And a lot of it is explaining, like, a lot of the cultural stuff, which I appreciate. But, oh boy, the pronunciation guides are terrible. Like, where is it? Is there one in this one? I don't remember. No, I think it's only in the first one. Look at the art. It's so pretty. Where's that? Hello, Toby. You know it's 10 o'clock, hey? He's very good at telling when it's 10 o'clock. Hello. Where is the pronunciation guide? This one has one, right? Where it does. Apparently not. I thought they all had pronunciation guides, but apparently not. And I'm just, yeah. I like, it's a lot. The bloody Netflix show and being 50 episodes, which I know a lot of Chinese shows are, and I've watched way too many at this point, which are 50 episodes, and I've watched them in like a week. But yeah. It's kind of like, really? Did you have to? Where are these pronunciation guides? I swear they're in here somewhere. I was sharing with, oh god, there it is. I was like sending photos of these to a friend who has a much better idea of the pronunciation than I do when I first got them. And we were just cracking up laughing. Like, this is horrible. How well can I show this? I don't know how well it's going to cross in stream. Is it going to focus? It really doesn't want to focus. Nope. It doesn't want to focus. No. Anyway. It's like... like the name that I would... I forgot... Wait, what? I forgot that they had like all the main characters in the one pronunciation guide. That's weird. Anyway. Like, Lua Binghe, or however the heck you pronounce it, is Lua Bing Ha in here. With like the most obnoxious pronunciation spelling ever. I don't understand. It's just no. Like, I'm sure it's correct, sort of, maybe. Honestly, I just wish they'd put IPA in, the International Phonetic Alphabet, because then you can go look it up, like what all the symbols mean. And literally, Wiki has a thing that it'll play the sound so you can try and imitate it. But no, they did the weird, like, pseudo-English pronunciation guide instead. So... Alpha, hello! How you doing? Chilling Adventures. I've watched the first season and part of the second of Sabrina, or maybe the whole of second. I don't remember. They did something weird with the seasons on that one, didn't they? Basically, when the devil turned up, I stopped watching. It was weird. So I haven't watched the latest episodes. No one likes Harry Potter? No. Nowhere Boys? Nope. Dance Academy? Nope. I know of Dance Academy, but only more recently. I didn't know that was a thing when I was, like, the age to watch it, so... Toby being so quiet unless we got he was there. Yeah, he's now demanding attention. So, he literally just tried to climb onto my lap. Waiting for Godot Hearts. Oh, I remember... I never read it, but yeah, I've heard of that one a lot. Waiting for Godot and was supposed to accept the characters short name each other as, you know, VV. Oh god. I just remember reading The Magic Faraway Tree as a kid, and like Enid Blyton in general. And there's at least one character in her books, if not two, that are named Richard, which is being shortened to Dick, because that's a thing. But it's not really a thing anymore. Like, people don't tend to use that nickname for Richard. Uh, so, and also, I think Fanny is a character in those books as well. So, yeah, the names are Magic Faraway Tree. I feel like a lot of people ended up reading those as a kid. It's a constant craving. Huh. Get the sense the Guild Same version go to high school. I don't know where the fuck. You think make a Splatfest before the release of 3? I doubt it. I think if anything, we're gonna get test fires. Maybe 1, maybe 2 test fires. And I reckon that's what they're gonna throw all the like, if they're gonna make a big fuss of any kind of event, I think it's gonna be test fires. Not a Splatfest. Because a lot of the Splatfests were also sponsored. I definitely don't see them doing a sponsored Splatfest at this point. And it feels like we've really run the gamut of non-sponsored. Unless they rerun one again, but... Come from my having... RJ, I don't know most of these books you're talking about. I feel like I need some recommendations here. Okay, I'm gonna make a writing channel in the server. I know we used to have a books channel, I think. I graveyarded it? I've graveyarded a lot of channels. I'm gonna bring back the books channel. And I'm gonna rename it Books and Writing. Where are we throwing that? Oh, with the movie stuff, I guess. Sync. There we go. Let me grab the lectures. I keep trying to use Mac shortcuts, and it doesn't work. I'll grab that Libby app as well. You guys can see. Apparently there used to be 2 apps, like Libby and Overdrive, and then it seems like Overdrive bought Libby. I don't know if... No. They could do, would you like better 1 or 2? As in 1 or 2 test fires, or just over a month away now? Yeah, it's getting close, so it must be 1. In-game thing on test fire for the anniversary. Yeah, should do 1 last Fat Fest. I mean, maybe they'll do something, but like, Have you read Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and the Carrie? Read Harry Potter. Have read some of Percy Jackson, but I think I would have liked it if I read it like in high school. But I tried reading it a couple years back. I have all the books. Theoretically, it seems like the kind of thing I definitely like. But again, I only got through a book and a half, and then I just got bored. So, and I've never read Kane Chronicles. I did mean to, but yeah, I didn't get to that. Physical Things channel. Another rant about my wax. This is fine. Yeah, we had an exercise one. Yeah. I mean, if you rant about it enough, I'll bring the channel back, Ham. So, the reading material Griffith Hughes went from Canterbury Tales to I Dream Magda. Interesting. Okay. Aussie books are so weird. It's definitely not all set in the Outback. They get a sense it wouldn't look out of place in Americans. But yeah, that was a whole conversation I had with Lady recently about like just the fact that most of the media that we consume, like Australians consume, is set in America. And if it's not set in America, it's set in like England usually. And it just feels weird that there's so little of our own. Like, especially having grown up watching so many Australian shows, H2O, Round the Twist, etc., etc. So many Australian shows. And then, like, as soon as you grow out of them, there's just nothing. And I have seen a couple of Australian shows around, like the Mermaid one that I mentioned earlier is an Australian show, which I really enjoyed. And I know there's been a few, like there was that one that was on Seven or something for ages about it was like set in the outback and it was about a ghost. Like one of the main characters was a ghost or something. I don't know. I've only ever watched like one episode of it. But that seemed interesting. But they don't get the marketing. Like we don't have the money for marketing because we don't have a big like book, movie, anything industry here. But we don't have a big industry because we don't market things, so we don't bring money in, so we don't. And it's just this. It's just a catch-22. And I'm like, I just wish someone would inject a bunch of money into the Australian book, movie, TV, something industry, just to like really kick it off. But I know you can't just inject money. Like you need a lot of money, and then you need an actual plan on how to use it. And yeah, Duck Book. As in my brain went to bloody hell. Like Looney Tunes. Ducks. I don't know if that's what you meant, Alpha. Past month somewhere. Maybe in the Victorian Lotteries Commission. Yeah. Queensland Film has been doing a decent amount, at least was before COVID. There was literally something being filmed on my street at one point. There was like this lady and this kid just running past repeatedly with like cameras following them. I was like, what the heck is happening? And I went out to talk to someone because the road was blocked off, and just out of curiosity. And they're like, oh yeah, we're filming a thing. I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, yeah, it should be out in like 3 months. It's called this. I've forgotten what it was called. But yeah, like I've seen a few things come through from Queensland in particular, but yeah, Queensland be trying to be the local. Yeah, as long as we don't like, as long as we don't get all of the bullshit from Hollywood. So, I mean, Miss Fisher, but reading the bubs are very. God, I feel like my taste in books is weirdly enough for how not picky I am about movies and anime and everything. I am incredibly picky about books. I have like a really narrow section of what I like in books. So, like stuff doesn't make a ton of money these days. It's exclusive market to Aussies, I'm realizing. Yeah. But at the same time, like we just don't have like I think about the shows that I grew up watching as a kid. And one, I'm pretty sure we don't have anywhere near that number of Australian shows on the TV anymore. Like we have Bluey, and I don't know of any others. But two, yeah, you grow out of those, and there's nothing, and then you get inundated with cultures from other countries, and I do find it kind of sad that I feel like Australian culture is just being steamrolled by particularly American culture in general. But like, yeah, hearing Australians doing American accents, yeah, like it's just a lot of things. Like you can really tell that we've been very much inundated by American movies and everything. So, oh, King Gizzard and Elizabeth. Uh-huh. Like a Crazy Rich Asians boom for Australia. Was that? I've never watched that. I don't know much about it. I mean, books by Jez Alborough. No idea then, I'm afraid, Alpha. There's actual music. Chats are just fun. Good night, Sneaky. See you. Sleep well. So many stuff you get soap operas or the ABC, maybe SBS. Yeah, like my Aussie mom, the Gruffalo's child, and Witch in a Broom. Gruffalo's, yes. Not sure about the others. Still producing a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have a TV, so I don't see the ads for a lot of them. But like, I don't know, even on Stan and such. Like I have Stan because I'm like I want to watch more Australian shows, and that's how I found the Mermaid one. There is a weird sound outside. Excuse me for a second. Come on, Toby. How about I just carry? It's gonna be easier. Okay, I think we're good. I think it was just truck noises echoing weirdly. That was... It vaguely sounded like a bloody air raid siren, so that was fun. Sorry, Bubby. He's like, why did you do that to me? Ugh. Toby's done with stream. He's a bit done with stream, yes. Neighbours is finishing up, so Home and Away. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't regret the soap operas dying off. If we had less bloody... Do we still have all the reality shows and stuff? Because that was a big thing for a long time, of like, a lot of Australian shows seem to just be bloody reality shows. And I hate it. I don't watch them. I don't like them at all. How can I find like Australian shows on Stan? You can't. Like, you can't just sort for Australian. See, that's something I'd like. I'd like to just look up Australian shows and see if anything, like, I might like. But I'm looking through Stan, which is pretty sure one of the Australian ones. It is an Australian one, right? And most of this isn't. Just going on the doc books. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh. No, I don't recognize those at all. I mean, I guess it would have been a very long time ago if I'd been reading one of those, so I probably wouldn't remember. But, no, it doesn't look familiar. Should I go more like this? It's on Paramount, which is the same color scheme as... Oh, God. And Paramount has a really bad UI, if I remember correctly. SBS is getting a lot of UK indie shows. I'm gonna miss Australian Taskmaster. ABC fictional portfolio has been diminished on code. Of course, that sounds about right. Wentworth, but I fell way behind on that. Even that is a modern reimagining of 70s soap opera. Of course. SBS has come a long way from our only access to... Aussie cat. I can't find an Aussie cat. Oh, unless it's like... Do I just have to keep scrolling down or something? I was trying to look through like the list at the top, but that wasn't giving me anything. Is it... If I scroll down, will I get more? I do like that Stan has Batman. Oh, there we go. Australian cinema. Okay. The number of times I've seen stuff about either Ned Kelly or the bloody, like, bikie gangs. That's one thing I don't really... Gaby baby? What? What? In this heartfelt documentary, we get to know 4 kids whose parents all happen to be gay, as they each wrestle with the challenges of oncoming adolescence. Okay. Wait, how much of what am I looking at is LGBTQ? I have immediately seen 2, at least, in the first, like, 2... Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, no, okay. I thought it loaded 4 rows of movies, and I'm like, wow, that's not many. But then I kept scrolling down, and it kept coming up with more. So... Oh, if anyone not from Australia, or anyone from Australia who hasn't seen it, wants to watch an Australian movie, watch The Rabbit Proof Fence. Fair warning, you may cry. But, like, that's one of the few Australian movies where I'm always like, I just wish everyone watched this. Like, I've watched the damn thing so many times. But, yeah. It's on Stan. I just saw it. That's what made me... Let's remind me. The Wog Boy. Oh boy. That would not get greenlit these days. Oh, they got Gingerbine. Think There and Back. Oh my god. I kind of hate how many of these I'm starting to recognize that are terrible. Okay. Yeah, there's a decent number of shows on here. Alright, well now I feel like I need to sit down and watch a bunch of these Australian shows to like watch Australian shows and support them. Because I'm sure that like Stan and stuff probably takes stats on who actually watches these things. Wait, that's an Australian one? Oh, that's not what I was thinking of. Still, okay. Red Dog, of course. Alright. Yeah, they have a decent number of movies. It keeps loading more. I've hit Underbelly. I've hit the many, many Underbelly. Water Diviner, I've been kind of meaning to watch that. Now, why am I adding this to my list? There we go. Boys in the Trees. What is this? Oh, that's a horror. Never mind. We good. Wait, where am I? Shuffle because Heartstopper rolled in. I watched Teen Wolf. Oh my god, yeah. We were talking about Teen Wolf earlier because I was ranting about H2O. I watched Teen Wolf. I haven't seen the last season and a couple of episodes before that. I just got sick of it in general. Like, I still love some of the characters. I still love sort of... I love what it could have been. But it was so badly done. Just awfully done. So, yeah. It became the Battle 1, 2, they watched those horror stopper. Wentworth and Prisoner are both Australian at least, so this is fair. But ABC try and put in more queer talent. Movie Australian Reels, it's pretty good. Ripped off Philip. No, I haven't seen that one. Australian Reels, okay. That looks interesting. I don't know, I'm now just... Oh, there's the castle, of course. Wait, what is this? Harmony. Born with an energetic power to absorb fear from others, a young woman must find love to balance the fears of her own and fight an ever-growing storm of negative energy. Is this like a... It feels like it has a bit of that fairy tale, like True Love's Kiss kind of thing. But hey, it's an Australian magic movie. I'll take it. Oh, holy crap, it actually just keeps loading more. Oh, I found Chopper. Wolf Creek. Yeah. That is the most dodgy thing I've... What is that? I'm good. That looks a bit dodgy. Wolf Creek 2, Rover, Babe. That's a thing. Oh, there's Man from Snowy River. Oh god, Kenny. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's not the greatest list ever, but it's a decent number of movies. We'll take it. And this season... Paramount Plus is... Wait, there's a movie for Teen Wolf coming out? Oh god. I'd really hope they just stopped with that thing. Derek and I hate Liam. I liked Derek and I liked Styles, but more because I thought the actor was one of the better actors in that show. There's one particular scene, I don't know if you ever heard about this, Alpha. There's a scene, one of the middle seasons, and it's Scott and Styles in a hotel room at the beginning of the episode. And they've like just got off the bus from a long trip or something, and they've gone into the room and they're both like sitting on the beds and they just kind of like flop back exhausted. And they have a conversation which kind of sets up, it might have even been the start of a season. The guy who, I can never remember his name, the guy who acted Styles, he wrote that scene. It is my favorite scene in the entire show, and it wasn't written by the actual writer of the show. It was written by the actor who plays Styles. I'm also really amused that the guy who acted Derek has gone on to play Superman, and I really like his Superman. I haven't seen a great amount of it yet. It's mostly just... I've watched some of Supergirl, and I've watched the crossover events, so I just know him from those. But what I have seen of him playing Superman, I really like. So... Murder... Yeah, exactly, that one. Dylan O'Brien. Yeah, he wrote that. And I saw that scene and I was like, can he just write the rest of the show, please? I think it was his first attempt ever at writing a scene or anything. But like, I really liked that. It really felt like the characters were right. And I think that was like the beginning of the end of me watching it. Like I watched that scene and then I found out that he wrote that scene and I was like, I can't go back to watching the rest of it now that I've seen that. It was so good, it just spoiled everything else for me. So yeah. I suggest yeah. I know they had to keep introducing characters because people kept leaving the cast for various reasons. But I really wished that they just built up the team of the Teen Wolf teens and then had them solving mysteries for the rest of the show. Like, sure, person dying here and there, but when you're constantly switching out half your cast every season, bit much. 11 years since oh god. I do kind of care because I watched the premiere on the day it premiered. So, yeah, okay, that was a while ago. There was a while there with this friend I kind of fell out of contact with. And I'd literally just message her occasionally, like when I stopped watching T-Mobile, because she kept watching it. And I just messaged her occasionally and I'm like, should I start watching again yet? And she's like, no. And then she messaged me finally, I think when it finished, like when the TV show finished, she's like, okay, if you're gonna watch any more of it, watch it till this point and then just don't bother. And I'm like, cool, okay. I thank you for your sacrifice. So, yeah. Hang on, where am I? I gotta go scroll up again. I like this my nose is really itchy too. I hate this. Rabbit Proof Fence, it's hard but essential film. Yeah. Like, if any Australians haven't watched Rabbit Proof Fence, I feel they really need, like, if you're gonna watch any Australian movie ever, watch Rabbit Proof Fence. That was one of the few movies that, like, school made me watch that I actually appreciated the fact they made us watch it because it's important. And it's just good. Oh my god, my nose. Sorry. Hang on. I think Toby earlier has made my, like, hay fever come back in because it's been playing up all week. And then I took hay fever meds yesterday and it was good for like 24 hours. And now it's coming back. I love the black balloon. I don't know what that is. SBS On Demand has a lot of good Australian. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like SBS does tend to have a lot of the good Australian things. And foreign. So I appreciate that. Underbelly, all. Yeah, I think Stan has all. I just kept seeing Underbelly and I'm like, okay, keep scrolling. Aussie movie I'm always partial to is Gallipoli. Yes, that's a good one. That is a good one. I never watched Marielle's Wedding. I've never seen it either. I think I might have seen like scenes from it being on the TV. I've never watched the full I've never sat down to watch Marielle's Wedding. I just don't care for it. Teen Wolf was a movie. Yeah, it was a movie in like, I don't know, the 90s. And then some idiot decided to try and make a TV show of it and did a really bad job. That's how this came about. If you're ever going to watch Teen Wolf, watch the first season and then give up. It's fine. That's enough. Why is it retracting messages? It doesn't even tell me what it retracted. Anyway. Toni Collette is Australian until last year. Watch Cozy? What's Cozy? Mentals are fun? Okay. I'm going to look up on a bunch of these. Two Hands. Okay, so I haven't watched a lot of these. I need recommendations. Wait, I feel like we need to put these in Discord because otherwise I'm going to lose them. Hang on. Yeah, chat. Things in chat just disappear. Hang on, what do we got? Cozy? Mental? Okay, Ham's copying things, thank you. From called Fran. Why does that ring a bell? You don't want my how come? I would think that you would have good recommendations, Jim. Two Hands. Right, yeah, Messiah mentioned Two Hands. Agent Toes and Channel Time. Netflix Seen that on Netflix. I haven't seen that around before, but okay. Today's Aussie actors have almost all the vowels in the name. Teen Wolf was 1985. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Teen Wolf movies. I'm like, no, that probably didn't age well. It can be fun. Yeah, that's what I figured. I haven't watched Rabbit Proof Friends yet. Yes, do it, Alpha. It's really good. You may cry, but it's good. Anything with Michael J. Fox as well. Yeah. Once Upon a Time, as in the TV show. I started it. I don't remember how many seasons. I think I got like halfway through. However many seasons it had, I think I got halfway through. And then I just got kind of sick of it. I think that was the general consensus. Once Upon a Time just kind of went downhill. So. Black Balloon is a coming of age in the 90s. Features an autistic character that definitely hasn't aged well. I'm guessing the character was sort of based on autistic stereotypes of the time, which were probably incredibly wrong. 90s movie based on honest play. Okay. I'm just commiserating that every actor seems uproot to US because there isn't. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. That's why I'm like, can we have an actual movie industry, please? Because, one, preserving culture. Two, movie industry and keeping actors and not just losing everyone to other countries. Terrible Aussie movie I'm recommending. I mean, at least you said terrible. I appreciate this. Hey, Boomy! Welcome! I have not seen any more than, like, a scene of Bluey. But, yes. I went to the premiere for the— oh god. I'm sorry for the, you losing all that time to that movie. Writer probably wrote from experience, but nowadays expected to have some first-hand input. Right. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Welcome, Boomy. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Are you still dropping by this area for pastries and things occasionally? Oh, if you haven't, do you know that A, there's a new bakery, and B, there's a new crepe restaurant? And they're both on my block. Crackerjack is hard to recall apart from Mick Molay swears a bit. Oh god. Murder Mysteries always Miss Fisher's. Mum was watching those at one point. I don't know. I never got into murder mysteries. I don't know what my taste in stories is. I really don't. The best thing I've ever come up with is just shenanigans. Like, I don't like comedy. Like, I just, most comedy, most of the sense of humor in comedy tends to annoy me or make me cringe more than anything else. But I like when you have a story and shit happens and there's a lot of like, oh god, no, what's happening? Why? And like this one character that's just causing chaos for the sake of causing chaos. I like that stuff. That's fun. Like literally the best I can think of is just shenanigans. And I need to find a way to just find stories that are just shenanigans. Like, Cat doesn't like comedy. Yeah, that's always the thing. My ministry's kind of hard. I know Lisboa has moved here. Has it? Huh, I didn't know that. Like a pie shop near the city. Did they? What happened? Very tempting because in Kelvin Grove temporarily. Yeah. I mean, the bakery might have some semi-healthy stuff. The crepe place definitely doesn't. I got one of their, like, brownies one day, and it was the most decadent brownie I've ever had in my life. So, same fucking most Aussie comment. Yeah. Well, yeah. I've had your keys. Oh my god. Did you find them when you were moving, Jim? Is that what happened? Mad as hell. Oh yeah, Mad as hell. Thank you for reminding me about that. I've been meaning to watch that for ages. And Glitch, actually. I think I watched the first episode of Glitch, meant to go back, and then just never, like I just never got back to it. I'm gonna pin this, so at least I can get to the start of it again. The castle, yeah, like, The castle doesn't. I don't enjoy the castle super much because of I think when it when it was filmed, but I do like that kind of thing in general. So, Nowhere Boys, The Slap, The Enlisted, and Maverick. I'm just gonna copy your whole list there, Alpha. This is fine. You keep mentioning Nowhere Boys. I recognize the name. I just don't. Why do I recognize the name? That's probably a better question. Teen drama series. Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm seeing the premise of this. After returning home from a school excursion, four boys find themselves in an alternate reality where no one recognizes them. They battle mystical threats and demons to find their way back home. Etc. etc. Okay. It's set in Bremen. Oh, what's the I don't think this is Australia. I think this is New Zealand, but what's the yeah, I'll throw Tidelands in. Bureau of Magical Things. I kind of enjoyed that. It was a bit I think it was aimed at like teenagers or something. I don't know. Something I wasn't quite sold on. It is Australian. There we go. That's kind of fun. If you want to just kill some time with like a fun little modern magical thing, Bureau Magical Things is kind of fun. Hard quiz is fantastic. Okay. Someone can surfing glitch. Who seems to play a surfer? Blake has beautiful storytelling. Okay. I should. I really should. I have heard good things about Bluey, even like as an adult watching it. So, alright. Don't know Victoria and the Dandenongs. Right, that makes sense. It's the only Bluey you should listen. Tomorrow when the war be. Oh god. No, I tried reading that a couple of times, and I just no. I couldn't. The books weren't my thing, and then I'd heard that the movie was not great in comparison. I was just like, I'm good. Oh god, it's 10:30. No wonder Toby is mad at me. All right, I should probably stop. We did start half an hour late, so this works out. And Toby doesn't need a walk tonight because we went for a walk earlier with RJ and this morning. But yes, I should probably stop. I'm sure the boy wants some attention. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. This was fun. I enjoyed this a lot. We'll have to. I don't know. I enjoy just chatting. Have you watched the? I have read and watched it. It was okay. It went off the rails. So many things. I liked the first one, and then it just yeah. Interesting. Anyway, yes. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye. And Toby's just asleep.